In the Legend of Zelda series, the Temple of Time is a sacred place where the hero Link can access the Master Sword, a powerful weapon that is wielded by the chosen hero of the land of Hyrule. The Temple of Time is also associated with the Triforce, a divine artifact that grants the wishes of its wielder. However, when trying to understand the geography of the game, using the Temple of Time is not a reliable landmark to match the geography with. Why does the Temple of Time never seem to be in the same place in any of the games? Why does its appearance change from game to game? And where is that elusive Gate of Time? I am Moxie, and this is Heavy Speculation. This is the second video in the series, and this video touches upon what we spoke about in the first video. If you're interested in more fun speculative theories, consider subscribing. It's free and it helps a ton. Let's get started with a history lesson! There is fundamental information in this section that I will build upon later. The three flames imbue the Goddess Sword, and with Hylia's blessing, transform it into the true Master Sword. There are two gates of time in this game. The first one we encounter is at the Temple of Time in Lanayru Desert. The gate at the original Temple of Time was destroyed when Impa and Zelda had to flee Girahim. It is important to note, since the active Gate of Time was kept here, it was called the Temple of Time. The other gate is dormant in the sealed grounds. Quote, each gate is operated by the way of the divine force that dwells within the Master Sword. The realm where Link finds the Triforce looks like the Silent Realm. Since the Triforce rests in this place, I will refer to it as the Sacred Realm. Another thing to keep in mind, there are 4 more pedestals: Lanayru Desert, Faron Woods, Eldin Volcano, and Skyloft. When the Sky Keep falls to the sealed grounds, it connects to re-establish the Temple of Hylia. It is fundamental to understand that the Sacred Realm's entrance was the Sky Keep, and is now planted in the sealed grounds. The sealed grounds houses the only Gate of Time in existence. These concepts will be built upon later. Quote, ages ago, we ancient sages built the Temple of Time to protect the entrance to the Sacred Realm. The Twilight were the people of Hyrule, wielding strong sorcery. Over many battles, the interlopers attempted to take control of the Triforce, and, using the Mirror of Twilight, sent the usurpers to the parallel world of the Twilight Realm. According to Hyrule Historia, quote, it is thought that Rauru built the Temple of Time directly over the sealed temple. However, the Zelda Encyclopedia rewrites this, confirming that, quote, the sealed temple did not survive the ages, but Rauru's Temple of Time was built where it once stood. So either the light spirits intentionally destroyed the sealed temple, or it was damaged in the battles over the Sacred Realm. Either way, this is where Rauru built the Temple of Light. It was built as a stronghold to protect the Triforce. Quote, with powers stronger than both time and the Master Sword, Rauru sealed the Sacred Realm. I speculate that Rauru has the ability to harness force, as he is a guardian of the power of the gods. It is said that it contains the only existing entrance to the Sacred Realm. There are many layers to the stronghold, as we learn in Ocarina of Time. The entrance to the Sacred Realm is sealed by the Master Sword resting in the pedestal of time. Removing the sword opens the entrance to the Sacred Realm. Only Link can draw the blade. This is sealed behind the Door of Time. The spiritual stones are needed to open the door, and are protected by the respective tribes. The last piece of the stronghold is the Ocarina of Time, which is protected by the royal family. Quote, the royal family watched over the Triforce, keeping its existence unknown to others. Once Link obtains the keys and draws the Master Sword, it opens the door to the Sacred Realm. Quote, the ancestors of Hylians created the Temple of Time. Signs of their civilization. ancient but very sophisticated, are everywhere. In Twilight Princess, the Temple of Time is in ruins and cannot be reached easily because of the dense forest surrounding it. Within the ruins, the Master Sword sleeps. Link is almost challenged by the Master Sword, asking if he's really the Chosen One. With one brave bark, the Blade of Evil's Bane lifts the curse on Link. Once again, the Master Sword becomes a link to the past. Using it in the past, the Temple of Time reveals a staircase through a stained glass window. The decorations are ornate. They are made of gold and smooth marble, sculpted. There are many statues that serve as a test. Link must fight a Dark Knight in a full set of armor. I mean, this place is elaborate. And it's all to get a Dominion Rod and a piece of the Mirror of Twilight. It appears Link has entered a different realm. The crest of the Sage of Light decorates almost every room. This is Raru's Temple of Light, and Link is in the heart of the Sacred Realm. Raru did not build this place himself. This was all built with the help of the Oka, the titty chickens. They helped construct this temple, allegedly. Quote, "The common opinion is that Hyrule was created by the Hylia people, the race closest to the gods. But, truth be told, there's also a theory saying that in ancient times, there was a race even closer to the gods than the Hylia people. And they, simultaneously with the birth of Hylia people, created a new capital. A capital that floated in the heavens." This text can suggest three things. 1. That the Sky Keep and the Temple of Hylia were built by the Oka. 2. The Oka and Raru constructed the Temple of Time in the Sacred Realm together. And 3. We may have a full capital of titty chickens to look forward to in the Tears of the Kingdom. The Temple of Time is partially damaged but still mostly stands intact. It was likely damaged during the Calamity 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild. Outside the temple, the ground is etched with the seals of the sages. Once inside the temple, Link is faced with a large statue of Goddess Hylia. Other than that, this place is underwhelming. Now that we have established the three appearances of the Temple of Time, there are a few inconsistencies surrounding the architecture. Is this the same Temple of Time from game to game? Where did the Gate of Time go? Does the Temple of Time move geographically? These questions are fundamental before coming up with any explanations. Let's start with the first question. Is this the same Temple of Time? The temple resembles the Avviato Cathedral, a real 14th century church located in Italy. The inside of the temple for these games looks mostly similar, aside from some variation in style. However, there is a large circular room missing from the back of the temple in Breath of the Wild. The only games Link is able to explore the outside of the temple are Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. However, it is missing the large circular window, and so is the small staircase leading up to it. This could be chalked up to design changes between the games. It still has most of the same details though, and most of the outside looks the same. So, to answer the first question, I'm not exactly sure if they're all meant to be the same temple. They probably are, however, a picky person might point out the details and feel otherwise. Another note for this section, the temple is in ruins during the events of Twilight Princess, and a few hundreds or thousands of years later, it's mostly in one piece. This could be a difference between timelines. Breath of the Wild does not have a confirmed placement in the timeline. That brings us to our next question. Where is the Gate of Time? In Skyward Sword, the Gate of Time is activated by the force within the Master Sword. This allows Link to traverse time as needed. It is in roughly the same area as where the Sky Keep now rests, which gave Link access to the Sacred Realm. At the end of the game, the gate just kinda disappears. Given the relationship between the Master Sword and the Gate of Time, it is possible that the gate is located inside the pedestal. This explains how time can move forward and backward. assuming the gate was removed and built into one of the pedestals located in Skykeep. They could have also built the Door of Time and the Ocarina with pieces of these crystals. In Twilight Princess, the Door of Time allows Link to go to a restored temple, though it looks to be made out of stone. There's not a ton of evidence toward this, but we are speculating. The Temple of Time and the Gate of Time are closely intertwined, with the temple serving as both a physical and a spiritual gateway between the mortal world and the realm of the gods. Its association with the Gate of Time further enhances its sense of mystery. And for the last question, does the Temple of Time move geographically? The sealed temple is located right next to Faron Woods and Skyward Sword. Then there's Ocarina of Time's Temple of Time. It's located in the bustling castle town. Death Mountain appears behind it. It is located next to Hyrule Field as well. In Twilight Princess, it is swallowed by the Lost Woods and it is in ruins. Finally, lining up the Temple of Time from Ocarina of Time matches perfectly with Breath of the Wild's map, down to the path to the castle and the fountain. Another dilemma is the geographical location of the Temple of Time in Twilight Princess. The consistency between Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild is mostly there. Unoriginal lined up the maps between these two games, and Deshaney has a great video that lines up Ocarina of Time with the 3D model that shows the architecture matching up. King Rome also refers to the Great Plateau as the birthplace of Hyrule. However, Vortezi Gaming's theory posits that the ruins of Castletown are in Twilight Princess, as there is a fountain and several buildings and ruins around the temple. Looking at where the Temple of Time appears on the map, it just doesn't match up. Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess locations both appear in the woods, while Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild are both located in towns. The pedestal remains in the Lost Woods. Each piece of the map in Skyward Sword is not to scale. They can be cut out and juxtaposed on the map. Ocarina of Time's Castletown perfectly matches the model in Breath of the Wild. Assuming that the Great Plateau is Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Castletown, then that leaves a few questions. Why is the Great Plateau so far from Death Mountain? Why does the Master Sword rest in the Lost Woods and not the Temple of Time? Why did the pedestal get left in the Lost Woods? The more I thought about these questions, the more I confused myself. So, to summarize, the architecture generally matches up, but the details don't. The Gate of Time is either taken apart to be rebuilt into other objects manipulating time, or in one piece and inside the Temple of Time. The locations do not match up and are confusing to try to understand. Okay, so now we know everything. It's time for speculating. The Temple of Time is located in a location that has spiritual significance. In The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the temple is built on the ruins of the Sealed Temple, which was itself on the remains of the Temple of Hylia from the time of the goddess Hylia. This suggests that the location of the Temple of Time may have been chosen for its sacred or spiritual significance, as a way of emphasizing its importance and connection to the divine. Additionally, the Temple of Time may be located in a location that is central to the geography of Hyrule. This would make it easier for those who are seeking to enter the sacred realm to reach the temple and access the Triforce. It is also possible that the Temple of Time is located in a location that is strategic from a military perspective, as it would need to be defended from those who would seek to use the Triforce for evil purposes. So different players and fans may have their own theories about its location and significance. There is a popular fan theory that was covered by Nintendo Black Crisis that the Great Plateau and the Lost Woods swap locations. He also theorizes that the Master Sword would not be able to move while resting in the pedestal. The point of moving these landmasses would be to keep the Master Sword safe in the camouflage of the Lost Woods. Deshaney proposes that it was a divine wish by the royal family. The landmasses swapped and the Sheikah filled the crater with the divine beast. There are also some theories on online forums I have read suggesting it was rebuilt each time. It could also be that the landmasses were lifted in the air during the last calamity. In the trailers, the Deku Tree seems to be missing. In the newest trailer, Link is climbing what looks to be roots of a tree. The landmasses could have been swapped then, Personally, I don't really like this explanation. It feels like too much suspension of disbelief to have entire landmasses just picked up. Just like the Calamity, there would have been legends of these floating islands rumored somewhere around Hyrule. Someone surely would have mentioned the Great Swap when the goddesses lifted the lands. Nah, man. Looking to the amount of pedestals in Skyward Sword may be the key. There are 7 pedestals giving Link access to the Sacred Realm in total. Lanayru Desert, Faron Woods, Elden Volcano, Skyloft, and the 3 located in the Sky Keep. With this solution, the pedestal in Twilight Princess could be from Faron Woods, and the pedestal in Breath of the Wild could be from Elden Volcano. Again, there are 7. Zelda vets know the importance of this number. 7 different pedestals would lend more evidence to the Temple of Time moving, and not the pedestal, let alone large masses of land. This could also be the key to restoring the Master Sword in Tears of the Kingdom. There are 7 tears Link will likely have to collect. Given he is carrying around a vessel in the trailer, and the mural in the trailer has 7 tear-shaped objects around the deity. Speaking of which, where else have we seen tears before? The Master Sword is broken, and in the logo, looks to have a green energy coursing through it. Link must find the 7 pedestals in order to access the Sacred Realm. One possible explanation for this movement is the temple is able to shift in response to the events and circumstances of the world around it. In Skyward Sword, it is located in the sky, while in Ocarina of Time, it is located in Hyrule. In Twilight Princess, it is located in the Sacred Grove, and in Breath of the Wild, it is located in the ruins of Hyrule. This suggests that it is not a fixed location. This could also be explained by the temple being a divine beast. Forests are able to migrate. It is possible that the Lost Woods spread over time. Far more likely than weird plate tectonics. After what happened during Ocarina of Time, the Temple of Time became a diversion. And what about its appearance? Well, of course, this divine beast can camouflage itself and change based on the circumstances. It's not too far of a jump to assume the Sheikah have this technology. Think about it. After all the wars fighting over the Triforce, they move the temple around because it's a target. People in search of the Master Sword would look for the Temple of Time precisely because of all the legends. So Hylia, or someone, commands it to move around. So what could happen if we unlock this divine gate temple beast? So stupid. But if this were true, we may be able to pilot a mini divine beast back to the games in which it's already appeared, such as going back to the era of Twilight for a specific item. Or going to Castletown at the exact moment to ask Princess Zelda for the ocarina. It's an exciting prospect, isn't it? And totally a bunch of speculation. But it's fun to think about, right? Overall, the theory that the Temple of Time is a divine beast is a compelling one, offering a unique interpretation of this iconic location from the Legend of Zelda series. While it is ultimately up to individual interpretation, this theory adds depth and complexity to the lore of the games, and helps to further enrich the fantastical world of Hyrule. I hope you guys enjoyed this theory. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and scribble, leave a comment. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.